Hey, real fast,
Right.
what's the longest you ever went without eating?
21 days.
21 days.
21 days.
21 days without eating.
My very first fast, he did 40 days. He did a 40-day fast. I did 21 days, my very first one. After 3, 4, 5 days, the hunger pangs are gone, right? They're not there anymore. And then the eyes of my understanding are just like, boom, right? And then it's another level. Then I'm working out, bro, and I'm by the 20th day of my fast. This is with no food, mind you. There's zero food.
Yeah.
I feel like I could run through a wall and nothing could stop me, right? Because I beat my flesh into submission. I ask God to fill me up. I'm making room for him to, and I read the word every day, right? Man shall not live by bread alone, by every word that comes out the mouth of God. And then February 22, I got another fasting testimony. I mean, he walked right in front of my truck.
Right.
Now, I didn't have my lights on, but I mean, I had parking lights on, but his hood was down, his head was down. He didn't care what was happening. He was going to like end his life, bro. So he said when I pulled up, he was like, bro, there was like, you look like an angel. He said there was light shining. I was like, bro, it was probably my phone like this underneath of me.
Right.
Shining in my face. He was like, no, bro, you looked like an angel. He was going to his car. He was at the worst spot in his life. While I was praying for God to use me, he was praying at the same time. It was like 13 degrees outside. And he's like, he was praying at the same time I was praying. He was like, God, you need to save me. Because he was going to kill himself, bro. He was taking that gas can, going to fill his car up, and he was like had it made up in his mind that he was going to drive off the bridge, and so his family and kids could get his insurance money. He'll tell you the testimony.
Wow, dude.
He was going then and there to go kill himself, and God used me to stop. I said, God used me, and He used me to save his life. Like that happened on my fast, right? And if you seek God and you want to do what He do with your whole heart, He'll show you something.
So if you did 21 days, of fasting just for that moment, was it worth it?
Yes.
Yes, it was. So that's what it was. 21 days of starving yourself, basically going through that to have God use you for something to bless you back. But what you do for others, God will do for you.
And that's just one test.
We are Christians. Join our podcast to listen. We are Christians.
Christians! Hey, Christians podcast. Anyway, we're going to talk about fasting today. Fasting, because Jared and I, along with RTC and a lot of members of the church, we just did our 21 days in January. We're going to discuss that a little bit, but some of the spiritual benefits of fasting, which comes first, and then there's definitely health benefits of fasting, which comes second to God.
When you do supernatural things, there's physical benefits.
Supernatural things. Hey, Jared. So there was this cat, Jesus, planet Earth, the Son of God. And he came down, right?
Yes, he did.
He came down, grabbed his gang of sinners, right, and the have-nots, and rolled around and disrupted the Pharisees and disrupted the Romans, and he saved people, and he healed people, and he did great things. And then he died on the cross so that we can be forgiven. So look, dude, Jesus, awesome, the best human being to ever live. He really died. He really died so that I could be forgiven and get to heaven. For real?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
real.
true. It's true, bro.
So
it's
no
true.
matter what I did in my past,
right,
I can give my life to Christ.
Forgiveness.
And I can start going down the path of righteousness for the kingdom and bring people and pull them out of the pit with me and start doing better things.
Absolutely.
And I can make it to heaven.
Yeah.
Awesome.
When you do go before him, you confess your sins, right? And he casts them, he gives you forgiveness, and then he casts them as far as the east is from the west, never to be remembered again. Like he doesn't, when we bring it to him again, he doesn't even remember that we confess. He's like, what are you talking about? I already forgave you.
So if he forgives me for
but then again, that's still not a it's not a pass to go and sin. Like he told the lady who was about to get stoned to death, I think, for adultery.
Yeah.
He told her, you're forgiven. Now go and sin no more, which means it was a command. It was like, don't sin no more, which means he wouldn't tell her to do it if she wasn't able to do it. Jesus doesn't lie, doesn't change. He's not he's not what's it called? He doesn't hallucinate and change his mind all the time.
No, he don't. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and in the future.
It's
Jesus
not a
is the
pass
same.
to just go sin.
No, it's definitely not.
But there is a freedom. There's a freedom from all your sin. There's freedom that you have to move forward in your life through Jesus, through forgiveness. And it's my testimony too.
So if you think that your life has been held down and you think that you're not good enough for church or Jesus or people like us or the scripture, then you're wrong, because you can just give it to God, and you give it to Jesus and the Holy Ghost, and they could propel your life quick, fast, and in a hurry. Bang, bang, bang.
It's true.
To somewhere that you didn't think that you could go. Dude, I say it all the time. I think Jesus was a gangster for real. He did. He had his gang of misfits and sinners, and he just went around and he stirred up and shook up the nation.
Yeah, he did.
And he did great things. But that's what he wanted to do. He wanted people to be more like him.
Yep.
Look, forgive your brothers and sisters. Love your brothers and sisters. Do unto others. Things like that. If everybody just did that more, right, the world would be such a better place. But let's talk about fasting now.
Right.
So fasting. So I legit just started fasting last January. So the January 21 day fast comes from Daniel 10.
Okay.
So Daniel 10, from what I read, because I'm doing my own research, I've read the Bible, I've read the book of Daniel. Okay. So Daniel did fast for 21 days. He fasted. Now, he didn't do I think, from my knowledge, he didn't go cold turkey. All right, because he said choice meats, wine, things like that. So Daniel fasted from a lot of stuff, is what I got out of it for the 21 days. And he prayed, and he had prayers, and he wanted some things to happen. Okay, I know in the book of Judges, they fasted from sun up till sundown. So last year with me, it's, the flesh thinks that we have to eat all the time. Back in the day, sometimes they didn't eat for days. They didn't have food. Like, we have such convenience, right? So your body legitly, and it's scientifically proven too, you don't need food all the time.
True.
So to control your flesh and say that I'm in charge, you just don't feed it, because you don't need it.
Yeah.
And to go through like that suffering, like it says in the Bible, like Moses and Jesus both fasted for 40 days. There's 70 references to fasting, water only, in the Bible. So when you give up your worldly desires and wants, and you give it to God and say, God, I can handle this. I'm going to beat my flesh down. And you do some fasting. When you fast and you pray together, and I realized this because last year was so difficult.
Yeah.
So this January, I made it 4 days
You
with
did
nothing.
great, bro. You
Dude,
did
I made
great.
it
You did
4
great.
days, baby, with nothing.
Proud
And
of you.
I prayed to God. I mean, all day, every day, I prayed to him. I was pacing back and forth in my house, like just talking, and I felt it, bro. I was calling you on the phone. I was like, I feel it. And I know that from those 4 days of not eating straight off the rip in January and praying and pressing into God, that it changed everything. It set the dynamics for my year, and it got me going. Then the rest of the month, the 21 days, I waited till sundown and I ate, which is still, it's a feat in itself when you're running and going to the gym and you're working, and it does hit your brain. It's like, we can eat. And you're around people that are eating. You're like, no, I'm not. And you pray. But like Jonathan says, and most people do, fasting without prayer, it's just a hunger strike.
Yeah, it's a
so
hunger
you need to press in and pray, baby. You need to talk to God and get connected to the Holy Ghost. That's me. Go on. Talk about some fasting with you, because you fast a lot.
Yeah. So I have a testimony through fasting, and it was like impartation from a guy named Brother Dan. It was like my second.
I met Brother Dan.
You met Brother Dan.
I love
right?
Brother Dan.
So, I mean,
yeah.
He's the one
real.
who gave me impartation for fasting, gave me impartation for the love of the reason I have to read this book every day is because prayer, fasting, and impartation from him.
Hey, real fast, what's the longest you ever went without eating?
21 days.
21 days.
21 days.
21 days without eating. And I know, because I've seen you. I've been around you, and you're looking real slim.
Yeah.
You'll flex that. Hey, my man, he shredded up.
Yeah.
We just came off of this.
Yeah.
But
I'm still so I'm getting married Monday, bro. So
yeah,
I felt like talking about beating your flesh into submission, like fasting from food, but also the Lord spoke to me through the fast, like and this is scriptural too, like no kissing, no touching your fiance, none of that. Fasting and beating your flesh down to submission.
So fasting, we can fast from other things too. And like I said, people just call it giving things up.
Yeah,
But you can fast from social media.
Yeah.
You can fast.
That's
from,
part of what I did too.
You fasted for social media. But like the main thing is like, and throughout the Bible, biblically, is fasting from food. Yeah. And I mean, it's
all liquid.
It's difficult. The whole liquid thing, just water.
Right.
I mean,
I worked out through my whole fast too.
I was there. I watched.
So people would be like, and I have witnesses through this, man. Like I was introduced to fasting, that Brother Dan, right? My very first fast. This is my second year as a Christian, right? Might have been the end of my first year as a Christian.
No, not this year. You're saying back whenever, back 10
years ago. So I meet Brother Dan, and like from the rip, I knew, like it was the first time I ever got a word of knowledge. I was like, we're going to fast together. And I don't even know what it was. It just came out of my mouth. And he was like, yeah, cool. You know, yeah, we're going to do that. And we ended up doing it. So my very first fast, he did 40 days. He did a 40-day fast. I did 21 days, my very first one. So on the third day, the third day of the fast, I ate a piece of chicken. I had to start over again. So I was like so hungry, and then he was like, "That's fine." And I told him, I was like, "Bro, I ate a piece of chicken." He was like, "It's cool. I expected."
Yeah, you expected
something
you to break
happen,
a little bit. Yeah,
but you got to get back on it, and you got to go. And I'm sure God was showing you something already. He's gonna keep showing you things. So I set my faith on that, and then He made sure I was in the Word every single morning. We read the Word. We prayed. He's out there in the streets, praying for people, casting demons out of people. I'm like this, second year as a Christian. I'm like, what is going on? What is this thing? It's real. Yeah. Right. But that's my prayer through the fast was like, I'm not going to be on the fence. Right. And I made this decision on every aspect of when I was in my salvation was like, I'm not going to be on the fence. I'm not going to be like, oh, God.
You're picking one side or the other.
Yeah, God, you're either real or you're not. And that's what I said. Like, I had opportunities to be like, show yourself to be God, because I'm not doing a fake thing, right? And He did, right? Through that prayer and fast, I said, show me who you are, right? And then He just set my life on a trajectory that's just different, bro. It's different. So my passion to read the Word is every day transform my life, right? I live by the book every day through fasting and through prayer. And then I worked out all the time, just beating, because my life is boxing and in the gym. So I beat my flesh into submission, right? And while I'm working out, I'm worshiping. I got worship music on through my fast. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, give myself away.
Yeah, no,
praying. And then like, I'm getting stronger. Like after 3, 4, 5 days, the hunger pangs are gone, right? They're not there anymore. And then the eyes of my understanding are just like, boom. Right. And then it's another level. I'm like plugged in, praying, fasting, telling people like, yo, I'm fasting. And then you could feel it and see it on you. Like in a good way, though, not like I'm walking around like I'm hungry. I'm like on fire. Then I'm working out, bro. And by the 20th day of my fast, right, I'm hitting the heavy bag, bro. And I feel like I could punch. Like this is with no food, mind you. There's zero food.
Yeah,
I feel like I could run through a wall and nothing could stop me, right? Because I beat my flesh into submission. I ask God to fill me up. I'm making room for Him and I read the Word every day, right? Man shall not live by bread alone, by every word that comes out the mouth of God. And then February 22, I got another fasting testimony. It was the last day of my fast. I woke up just like I knew something was going to happen. So I'm on the way to my 6 a.m. Bible study up at my community center, right? We had a bunch of guys there. Last day of my fast, right? And I'm worshiping in my car. Stop at Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee. It's like 5:30, 5:45, and I'm like, I'm just a wreck with God right now.
Because you can have like black coffee and water. Because there's zero. You can Google that. Even when you're doing like the fast to kill like bad cancer cells and everything. Yeah, black coffee and water will not. Yeah, will not start your system back up.
Yeah, so I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee. It's my last day. And I'm pulling out of the Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm just crying. I'm crying out to God. I'm saying, God, use me. I'm saying, use me. All I want to do is be used, right? So I pull out of Dunkin' Donuts in Aliquippa, right? So if you know the Dunkin' Donuts in Aliquippa, as soon as you come around the drive-through in the left, the first road there is a one-way, right? So you're not supposed to go out that way. But it was like 5:30 in the morning. I just did it. I didn't even have my headlights on, and I'm like, God, I'm saying, use me. And I'm like, not even looking. I flick my headlights on, and there's somebody directly in front of my truck. I almost run him over. I slam on my brakes, right? And he's walking with his head down in a hoodie carrying a gas can. And he's walking. And I was just like, I was praying for God to use me. I turn the lights on. I almost run this guy over. It's the last day of my fast, bro. It's like day 21. And I'm just like, I'm plugged in. And I don't know what happened, but I was just like, by the time I came back to or whatever happened, in that moment, he was like a block down the street. I lost like time from when I see him to when he was down the street, because I was like, this is supernatural, right? There was something that happened. It was just like supernatural. So I drive around the block to go pick him up, and I look at him, and I'm like, yo, you need a ride, bro? He said when I pulled up, he was like, bro, there was like, you look like an angel. He said there was light shining. I was like, bro, it was probably my phone like this underneath of me.
Right.
Shining in my face. He was like, no, bro, you looked like an angel, right? So I pick him up, and he gets in the car, and he just starts spewing on me his life, right? everything that's coming. And we were like in a part of Aliquippa, and when I tell a testimony, he does too. While he was talking to me, I was like but I was just like got lost in these roads while he was testifying, bro, and telling me
Yeah,
stuff.
because you get lost in the conversation.
Yeah, and I was just there, and he was like, and I gave him my business card, and he told me before he got out where he was going with the gas can, bro. And he'll tell you the story. From he tells it probably better than me, but this is my view of it. But he had that gas can. He was going to his car. He was at the worst spot in his life. While I was praying for God to use me, he was praying at the same time. It was like 13 degrees outside. You know what I'm saying? This is January. This is like the beginning of my fast. Or no, this was February. I wasn't doing a January fast. I was doing a February fast. And he was praying at the same time I was praying. He was like, God, you need to save me. Because he was going to kill himself, bro. He was taking that gas can, going to fill his car up, and he was like had it made up in his mind that he was going to drive off the bridge, and so his family and kids could get his insurance money. He'll tell you the testimony.
Wow, dude.
He was going then and there to go kill himself, and God used me to stop. I said, God used me, and He used me to save his life.
And people need to wake up to this. Like
that happened on my fast, right? And if you seek God and you want to do what He do with your whole heart, He'll show you something. He'll use you.
It's these small incremental spiritual miracles. Like that's a miracle. And people want to overlook stuff like that. Like, okay, you were fasting, you were praying God to use you, because we're supposed to, be soldiers for Christ basically and help everybody as Christians. That gentleman was going to go kill himself. He's praying to God too because he's lost and everything. And then they just put you together. Like, how come people don't see that as a miracle? How come people want something big to happen? Like God to come down from the sky, sit with them at their dinner table and say, hey, listen, you're going to be the next big movie star, or you're going to be the big football player, or you're going to get this break and that break. No, that's not what happens. Miracles are small little things that incrementally happen and put you in a place to do the work of the kingdom. Because now, who knows? What if that gentleman you saved ends up changing these people's lives or these people's lives?
That's what he started doing.
Right. So you're going to get more into it.
And I gave him my card, and I said, my bro, like, can I pray with you? And I prayed with him before we get out, gave him my card, and I said, you ever need anything, call me. So he called me that night. I made room in my schedule because I felt the Lord was in it. It was like the last day on my fast. He came up and we talked. He told me everything. And since then, he started an organization, a nonprofit, a mission. He's a former felon. So his thing is the impossible is possible. And he has something called productive felons. So he's impacting his area of influence, but the Lord used me to save his life, man. And I'm thankful and grateful and honored to be able to be used by the Lord, right?
So
because it's not me doing it.
Through your fasting and prayer, you end up running into this. And
what would Jared have done if I wasn't praying? And what I would have done if I wasn't talking to God saying use me, and I would have almost ran somebody over, I'd have been like, what's this jerk doing walking around not watching where he's going? And I would have just went past him.
But you're a different human being. Most people would be like, who is this jerk in my way or whatever? Whereas Christians, we check ourselves every day at the door, we give it to God, and we look for opportunities to pull other people out of the pit.
Yeah, he walked right in front of my truck.
Right.
Now, I didn't have my lights on, but I had parking lights on, but his hood was down, his head was down. He didn't care what was happening. He was going to like end his life, bro.
So people, like I said, people want these big show me or these big moments. Okay, so if you did 21 days, of fasting just for that moment, was it worth it? Yes, it was. So that's what it was. 21 days of starving yourself, basically going through that to have God use you for something to bless you back. But what you do for others, God will do for you.
And that's just one testimony. I got 100 stories like that where God's supernatural.
And that's all we're going to keep on with this podcast, keep on putting it out there. So look, back to my testimony with stuff anyway. Brother, I'm telling you right now, and I talked to you, 3 days of not eating, and I get it. There's health fanatics out there. I know Dana White was just posting about how he did a 7-day water fast because, they want to kill all the bad cells in your body and the cancer cells, because they say if you do like a 6 or 7 day water fast, you have a like 70% less chance of getting cancer if you do them once in a while. And it's true. And you can, like I said, you can go on the research with everything, not to get, but autophagy is, you can Google it, AUTOPHAGY, and that's what cures cancer cells and stuff like that. But anyway, it's hard for me because I just started doing this a year ago, and I haven't went longer than 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days was
Ever
my
since
record.
I've known you, you just love to eat.
I
bro.
love food. It's like one of my weaknesses, bro. So it's like, yeah. So
And you would always be like, "Man, I need to eat." I was like, "Bro,
yeah,
you need
all
to
the
fast."
time. I killed that. So
I know you beat it. You beat
but
it with the Lord's
it
help.
does. It frees up a lot of your mind. But on that third day, remember I was on the phone with you. I was like, "Bro, I'm going like crazy. I'm back and forth. I'm doing this. I'm doing that." It wouldn't stop. I was like just fueled by the Holy Ghost, and I was on fire. And I was like, I haven't eaten in a couple days, and I'm just moving like crazy, and I'm praying, and I'm connected to God. And I felt for the first time ever last year. No, listen, last year with the 21 days of fasting, because I just did sun up till sundown. And then in between last year and this year, I was doing some 1 dayers, some 2 dayers, stuff like that, getting myself ready. But dude, I did, like I said, 4 days in a row, no food. And then, like I said, I broke, but it's okay because, like I said, I'm not used to this yet, and I'm trying my best. But during them 4 days, and even after that, praying to God, just continuing to do my 24s and my evening food and stuff like that, I definitely felt more connected than I ever did. I felt like, bro, I had laser precision.
Yeah.
I mean, like Rocky said it. Like Rocky said in the movie when I was talking to Mickey, I could see like a beagle or something.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, I was there.
Right,
I was
and you
focused.
want to tell people about it, and it's and in Isaiah 58 it says,
Don't tell people.
Yeah, don't tell people. But I mean, how could I not tell people like what? It's a testimony, right? I'm not going out and bragging about fasting. It's like, this is what happened. How can I not tell people what's happened through this fast? The Lord has used me and what He's done in my life through fasting.
And
prayer.
it's hard, like I said, because like I said, it says you shouldn't boast about good works as well. But the thing is, if your heart's,
it says Jesus said, "I am the light." Now you are the light,
right?
Right, and He said, "Go,
so we are the
go
lamp.
and
Shine
let your
down.
light shine before men, so that they may see your good works, but it may glorify your Father in heaven." So
if you're
as you
pressing
do
in,
good works, and you say it was God that did it, like it was God that saved that guy's life, it was God that changed my heart. That's my testimony, right? It isn't by fasting. I'm just like doing a spiritual thing that gets a physical benefit, right, and saves people.
Like this podcast, like we're not doing this podcast for ourselves. I mean,
I don't like being on camera talking on a microphone, bro.
but
I don't like it.
We're trying to do this for the kingdom, and we're trying to do it for the have-nots and the people in the pit. We're trying to let them know scriptures and verses and stories in the Bible and things that we went through, and we're bringing on all kinds of people from now on. We're bringing on people with wild testimonies. Like I said, we had Ken, Semper Fi mission, bro.
Yep.
OD'd 15 times. They made a documentary saying he wasn't going to make it by the time it aired. He found Jesus, and look at him, bro. And he found Jesus for real because he has his stories and testimonies. Like now they're saving lives. Like I said, Semper Fi mission going out there and doing things. Look what you do. Look what I do. It's testimonies. It's getting people to change their lives, brother.
Yeah, I'm just taking notes right here. When you see our next three guests, our next three guests are going to be fire.
And we're going to have good people on here. And we're gonna get the word out there, and that's what the deal is. But so fasting, like I said, how come?
Yeah.
So like, real fast, like how come? How come people want to undermine this stuff? Fasting, prayer, doing the right thing, tithing, all this stuff helps. How come you think, like I said, all right, so all the young kids, right? The young kids, but the young kids, drugs, money, cars, women, whatever it is, right? Okay, you see that as a young person. Man, woman, whatever. You see all that stuff and you want that. How come everyone that's older, that lived that life, now they're older and they're like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have partied like that. I wish I didn't drink alcohol every day. I'm addicted to it. I wish I could get off drugs. I wish I could do this and that. How come everybody that's up here that's super successful is saying, I don't want to do that. I wish I would have never done that. But the younger generation still was chasing that dumb stuff. And it is dumb stuff because we both lived it and we both changed our lives, and now we're pressing into the right stuff. All right, so these guys, like I said, you can look at like Rob Deirdrick, you know what I mean? Like he has his podcast. You got people like Joe Rogan. You bring people on like Goggins. I can go down the list of people, but it's like we used to do this. Now we don't anymore. A lot of people don't even drink. Like 50 Cent talks about all the time. He's like, I wasn't an addict. I wasn't a user. I sold. I sold, bro. I made the dough. I didn't do that. Why would I do that? Why would I get, Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip-hop preacher, is like, why would I get loose around you guys? I'm here to motivate. I'm here to tell you some stuff. So it's like they change their lives, and then they get older.
Kevin Gates, 5 years semen retention or something.
Bro, he said he went like 40-some days without eating.
Yeah.
And he's big into all that. But like, look at how people change.
And another thing, it's powerful. Like like semen retention. Like something about 5 years, no sex or something, bro. You know what I'm saying? Which is a huge thing, bro. That's called beating your flesh into submission, right? You tap into another level. And that's what's happened. Like, you see Kevin Gates doing it, 50 Cent. Like, it's another level. It's God.
So the people, the naysayers, don't believe in all this stuff. They're like, oh, I want to go do this and I want to do all that. I want to go sleep with 1 million girls. I want to go get drunk and party every night. I want to do this. Look at my money. Look at my ride. Look at all this. Okay, but I'm telling you, so how come the billionaires, how come the dudes at the top are the dudes that are waking up early, not getting smashed, they're in bed at 9 or 10, they're not going out to parties? Like I said, Grant Cardone, one of the biggest real estate moguls, multi-billionaire, all right? I love what Grant Cardone does. I heard his testimony. He said, yo, I was in Vegas. Jamie Foxx was in Vegas. I got a phone call. Hey, Jamie Foxx would like to have you at his birthday party. Grant's like, cool, I'd like to hang out with Jamie Foxx. And he's like, when and where? And they're like, some sort of nightclub, 3 a.m. Grant's like, bro, I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. Nothing good has ever happened after 10 p.m. Yeah. All right, so you want to sit there and argue with Grant Cardone? Bro, Grant Cardone. Go argue with him then. Go talk about partying and everything else like that. Go argue with him. Go argue with Ed Milet. All right? Anybody else, I'll name the names. Go argue with them. Why do you think they're up there? They do stuff. They fast. They press into things. They're waking up early. And people want to just overlook it, but fasting, and now it's catching on for the health benefits, like I said, that autophagy. So people are pressing into that too, like the 6 and 7 day water fast.
Yeah. So real quick, the last two things here is in my journey with the Lord, two things have, you can control them, you tap into another level. So one, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh.
Yes.
Right? If you could transform your mind to not looking at women the way that the world looks at women and look at women the way that God looks at women, that is huge, bro. That's number one. Number two is fasting. So, and then number three things is money. You know what I'm saying? The way that you look at money. So greed, if you could untie money from your heart by giving what you got, right? If you could untie money from your heart, if you could beat down the will to eat food, right? That's another huge temptation. And the other temptation is, you know, the lust of the flesh. Now, it's not just women, but I mean, it usually starts off with guys in the beginning. Is like lust of women, but there's also lust of money, lust of ego, lust of it's all pride stuff. But if you could beat those three things down, it's like tapping in instantly to what God has for you.
So I want to give you my testimony quick on those three things, because here's the thing. I mean, I weaknesses. Women definitely, for men it is, but like in my day, I dated a lot of women. I have. Like tens. I've dated some girls that are super smoking hot. And you know where that got me? Nowhere. Having relationships, women here and women there, it got me nowhere. Right. So I conquered that. And now for a 4-year period, I am not sleeping around.
My man.
And I've seen,
it's a great example, bro.
a lot of changes in me. So what I'm trying to say, though, is for anyone out there listening and anyone that doesn't think it's possible, when you start doing something, just like fasting, just like going to the gym, studying, whatever it is, running miles, you don't start off with 10 miles. No. You're not David Goggins. Like I said, you start off a little bit. But you do these things and you press in and you get used to it. So now, even with age and wisdom, when I look at women, any woman, there's no power of that over me at all. Right. So I can operate on a different level. And then women see that as this is a legit man. He's not shooting shots at me. He's not only looking at me for this. Even if the girl's like, beautiful. And the thing is, they're used to having men do that. So it's different when they're around me. And I get a lot of compliments from women because that's who I am. And I operate differently. And you know what? If God wants me to have a wife, He will send her to me the same way that, He sent a wife to you.
Now, I'm getting married February 5th.
Yeah, coming up, baby. So the second thing is food, fasting and food and everything. Yeah. Look, I'm telling you, start doing it. Try it. People are like, I couldn't make it till lunch. What do you mean you couldn't make it till lunch? Try dude, look, listen, at least 12 hours. Give it 12. Eat your breakfast and go 12. And then go to 24. Then go to 48. And try that, like I said, for spiritual reasons, one, but also look at the results. Why do you think these people like Grant Cardone are still in super great shape at 65? Look, he got $1 billion. I get it. Stem cell therapy, things like that. But you don't think people like that do their fasting? They do their proper regimens and everything? All right. And the third thing is money, too. When you stop caring, and we did an episode, one of the first episodes, the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. Why do you think there are good Christians and preachers and entrepreneurs that are Christian based that are blessed with big money because they stopped. They stopped caring about the actual money itself. They pressed into God. You put God first. You put your mission first, what you're supposed to do on this planet. And you know what?
Yeah.
The money will come, but stop caring about money. If the opportunity presents itself to make money because of what you're doing on this planet, then that's all well and good and you deserve that. But if you put the bag before God, you're never going to win. I promise you. And if you win for a little bit, the devil will take it from you. And I've seen gentlemen that had super successful companies die cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Die cancer at a young age because they weren't doing it right. They put the bag first. The devil built you up to bring you down. Here's my testimony on that.
That's good. That's good. All right.
So anyway, hey, that's fasting. Read Daniel 10. It's not that long. And try to give it a shot. But
read Isaiah 58 too.
Isaiah 58 for sure. Yeah. All right. You got that open to that?
Yeah.
As always, hey, Christians.io to help support the mission and get some gear. We're going to get some more gear out there on YouTube. Hey, watch the other videos and hit the like button for the algorithm and share this stuff. Give us a follow. We appreciate everything for the mission. If you want to be on the show and give your testimony, we will welcome you. We like to get a good Christian network or just a positive network. If you're iffy on the subject of God, hey, we'll bring you to him and we'll show you what he's about because Jesus, gangster. I love saying it. People might not like it, but it is what it is. That's my
check
belief.
out Christians. Follow on Instagram. Hit a like, share. We love you guys. Christians Mission, we out.
Be blessed.